The following is the agenda for the regular council meeting of the Borough of Compton Lakes, Mayor and Council, Municipal Corporation in the County of Passaic. The meeting will begin at 7:30 p.m. on September 1st in the Municipal Building, consistent with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. The meeting will be open for public comments. Public comments may be made at designated times during the meeting and may be submitted in writing to be read aloud during the meeting. Comments to be read at the meeting must be submitted at least 24 hours prior to the meeting by email or to the clerk's office at 25 Lenox Avenue, Compton Lakes, and must be of a length that can reasonably be read within the time limit for public comments.
Okay, please stand for flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maria, if you don't mind, just mute yourself except when you have to talk.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. In conformance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this regular meeting, through notice posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, mailed who have requested, paid for same, and published in the Suburban Trends. Roll call, please.
Mayor Sarah.
Here.
Council President Delane.
Here.
Councilman Begg.
Here.
Councilwoman Kent.
Here.
Councilwoman Polidori is excused.
Is excused, yes.
Councilwoman Riker. Here. Councilman Brennan is excused.
Yes.
With us this evening is our Borough Attorney, David Rutenberg, and our Borough Administrator, Kevin Boyle.
Okay, I have no presentations and updates right at this moment, so we're going to go right open the meeting for public comments. Do I have a motion? So moved. Council President Delane?
Second.
Councilwoman Riker, all in favor? Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Anyone else? All right, please step up.
Anyone. Nobody here but me.
Okay, a mask on, please.
Huh?
In this meeting for today, we need the mask to stay on.
Oh, you do need a muffle?
Just today, yes.
Just to muffle me?
Yes.
Okay. At least you're on it. Randy Hinton, 443 Montclair Avenue. I'm here speaking for the Golden Ages. There's a little bit of an issue that came up recently with payment of a couple of bills that the seniors had incurred, and just want to know, at a meeting or two before, Councilwoman Riker had talked about different committees and commissions and organizations within our town putting in bills that weren't approved, and it seems like this fell upon the seniors on these two bills. Now, the seniors have been, Millie, I'm speaking for Millie, and she gave me permission. She had said that she had talked to you, Mayor, a few times about this, that we needed a place for the seniors to meet. We couldn't use the Civic Center during the COVID year, so we didn't have a lot of meetings, and then finally she's had Thanksgiving and Christmas meetings before, and the town had no problem picking up the tab for that. So she had an anniversary meeting, and then she combined another meeting at Frank's Pizza. What happened with that?
All right, so I spoke to her yesterday. We will be paying it this one time. We will be paying the bill. But moving forward, there's going to be some requirements that need to be done before they can just bill. For example, alcohol can't be included in it.
She understands that and has no problem.
But it was. So when they presented the bill, there was alcohol in it. Oh, you can hear me?
I'm having trouble here.
When they presented the bill initially, there was alcohol in there.
Okay, yeah.
So that was one of the reasons it was pulled.
Yeah,
We just need, moving forward, we're going to change the process, and we're not going to blame her right now, because this is not anybody's fault. We're going to change it a little bit. We have to identify who's there. You know, we work out, and Kevin can speak more about this. We're going to identify a PO that we pay normally. We don't pay a check after someone gives it to us. We usually send the PO first.
Okay.
So there was some mix-up. I am attending the meeting tomorrow. I'm going to be at the Golden Ages tomorrow. and address it a little bit. So, Kevin, if you want to add anything.
Kevin, I'd like you to address it, and I'll embellish it after you, if needed.
Well, what should happen is that prior to doing anything, we should know what's going on, we work through it. Now, when we had those holiday meetings, they were back in 17, 18, I was still here, and that was at Leeds. That was pre-done, so we knew exactly what we were spending and everything else. When she went to the Novelli's, that was out of the blue. It came out of nowhere, we had to pay tax, pay tax on, we had to pay the alcohol on, it was a price fix, it was off the menu, things that we could have addressed if she would have come early. Then, I talked about that issue, and then she goes ahead and goes to Frank's, same deal. I know it was only $400, but I had no idea they were going. So now you go to Palazzo, I know Tony, I'm going to call, so we can put together, make sure we have a plan, so we have it already. This is almost $1,600 in the value bill. The other ones were not even close. $1,100, $1,200. Most of the time, we only pay for trips. At the end of some years, if you have extra money, we do a holiday thing. Now, you guys get away pretty lenient because St. Mary's only extra trips. You know, we pay for them only for trips. So that's what happens. This dollar value is so high and so egregious compared to the past. And I told her, I said, I'll put it through the system, but if the council doesn't approve it, I'm not going to be surprised. That's what was the problem. It was not pre-approved. Nobody said he couldn't do it. But by the time it's already gone, the horse is gone. I got bills and alcohol and tax I have to pay because.
That's understandable.
And I'm going to let Councilwoman Wyko, if you want to say something.
Kevin said it beautifully. You basically had a Novelli bill that had tax, which we don't pay, had alcohol, which we don't pay, and they ordered straight off the menu and didn't do a fixed price like 3 choices. The bottom line is it was $50 a person for lunch. All sorts of bells and whistles went off when we see $50 a person for lunch.
Okay.
And it brought it to a head, but there was more than one warning on this. This has been going on. The pandemic now is over 18 months.
Right.
And this is not the first time. It's just the Novelli thing brought it to a head, because that was really over the top and excessive.
Okay.
So, and we're going to put a procedure together, Kevin and I had talked, and we'll put a procedure that they have to follow, which goes over the 2 things they just mentioned. So they can still probably have the dinners. We just have to, that's everybody going off. They can still have the dinners, but we have to work out a better deal, that's all. You know, you can't just pick off the menu, they can't have alcohol, you know, that's that kind of thing.
This is all understandable.
Okay.
And there was a miscommunication here.
There was no communication. That's the problem. There was no communication.
Well, now she had said, I just talked to her today, she had said that she had got in touch with the mayor or the council.
No, not me. She called me yesterday, it was the first time I spoke.
Prior to this, there was no communication. After the fact, I'm being honest.
Right.
I think what she said was, in the past, in 17 and 18, they did it this way. So they just assumed they could do it again now. I think that's where she was going with.
Okay.
And look, we don't want to put a burden on the seniors, we get that. We just have to have a better accounting for what we're doing, that's all.
All right. Now, I'm going to step out one step further. I've spoken quite a few times through the years that we do have a liaison, Councilman Begg. If he would come more often, and if there's an issue with the council as to how we're doing things, then it could be cleared up before we got to this point.
I agree, and
So,
I'll let
listen.
Councilman Bay address that if he wants. Got anything you want to say?
I don't want to throw Councilman Begg under the bus.
Nobody ever approached anyone on it.
Well, I think what he's saying is, maybe if we went to meetings, that's why I'm gonna go tomorrow. I have some questions, I understand that. So I'm gonna show up tomorrow and have some news about COVID.
About 4 meetings a year.
That's not enough, obviously. Or we wouldn't have been in this situation.
So we'll address
I
that.
don't know about that.
Yeah, we'll address that,
Well-
but, that's something we'll work on.
We'd appreciate if you can, Mr. Mayor, and
Yep.
we can discuss it further then.
I'm sure that'll go over well tomorrow.
I came into the office today and I was asking about a July 27th zoning board meeting where in the minutes, they were discussing the shade tree ordinance. Is there any reason why? Mr. Boyle gave me an explanation. I was
I
curious.
don't remember what happened, to be honest.
The explanation I gave to Mr. Hinton was that we had a meeting at that time frame relative to the ordinance that had been discussing as to Shady's responsibility and the rest of the department's responsibility vis-a-vis Shady. So what I did was I took that ordinance and I sent it out to the police department, DPW, remind everybody, planning, zoning, that the issue relative to public right-of-ways, keep the Shady Commission in. That was pretty much, I think, everybody realized, we forgot, including myself, honestly, that the Shade Tree should be kept a little bit better.
So it was a benefit to the Shade Tree Commission. Is the way I'm understanding it. To support the efforts of the Shade Tree.
I'm just here to thank you.
No, I didn't hear thank you. That's right.
I'm just here to thank you. Also, I had spoken about the library and the 3 cherry trees, and I spoke at the bid meeting. I was invited to the bid meeting by Rob Walker, and I spoke at the bid meeting, and you weren't out there. You were on vacation, but you were there on telephone, and you had made a comment that me speaking about the shade tree issues at the library wasn't appropriate for the bid. That's what your comment was on the phone,
I
but...
don't remember that, but you're allowed to speak at the bid. I
did.
I think the comment was, the town hasn't decided, and the bid, by the way, both, haven't decided which direction they want to go with the Christmas tree. I
Correct.
think that was the concern.
Okay.
The cherry trees, I don't think is an issue.
Well, I mean, they do decorate, for the holiday stroll, they do decorate the cherry tree.
Right.
And Rob was a little hesitant for me to remove them, but I have the reports
Well, I get it, I understand.
from the,
I mean, look, I'm gonna leave it to Shade Tree. Do you think it's an issue to wait till after Christmas to do it, or should we do it now?
well, according to the arborist, it should have been done ASAP. So-
Right, so that, I think.
Well, right now, our tree service is not in town. I don't know when he's gonna be back in town. So there's nothing that I could do with it right now anyway.
Wait, and we have to, as a town and a bid, decide, and the bid really has to make the first decision on what they want on as a tree in front of the library.
Correct.
So that is part of the problem too. They were talking about getting an artificial. Do we get a bigger tree that we have there now? Do we put it someplace else? These were all questions that came up. Yes, we will follow up on that. And then we should talk more about the cherry. I'm okay with taking them down now. I know the bid will be unhappy with that, because there'll be no way to put decorations up. But I did talk to them about maybe putting in some like poles and things that could hang some decorations where the trees are
Right.
for this year until we get some trees put in. So we have a bid meeting coming up in 2 weeks. I think they'll address it there.
All right, you'll be at that one, and we can talk about it then?
I haven't
All
missed
right.
the meeting.
If you decide that, can you just let me know so I can inform the library board of
Can you
trustees?
speak
Sure.
louder, please?
He said just let the library board know. You know, he's on the library board, so.
And there's electrical, that has to be taken out of there also.
We'll have to get our electrical. Well, hopefully he's going to put it aside and reuse it back when we put trees in.
Okay, but I'm just saying there's an expense that you have to,
Yeah, we'll pay that, yeah.
all right, Mr. Boyle left, I had a question for him, but,
I'll let you ask it.
Jen, is that you?
It is, I'm here.
Okay, I'll let you ask it when he comes back.
all right, thanks.
Thank you. Motion to close the meeting for public comments.
So moved.
Councilwoman Riker, Council President Devine, all in favor?
All right.
Against? Motion to approve the following minutes, regular meeting minutes of August 11th. Do you have a motion? Councilman Begg? Second, need a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Riker, all in favor?
All right.
Against? Consent agenda, does anybody need anything removed?
Can you remove something for me?
Yes, what is it?
I don't have it up in front of me, but I just have a couple questions regarding, the resolution for the MUA agreement with the water at the ball field.
It's number 6.
Okay, 6, yep. Okay,
Thank
Liz,
you.
can we remove 6?
Okay, yes, I will. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Compton Lakes have reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Compton Lakes desire to remove resolution for individual action from that agenda. Now therefore be it resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. Resolution 21-213 through 21-222, with the removal of Resolution 21-218.
Motion to approve the resolutions.
Motion.
Councilman Begg,
Second.
Councilwoman Riker, all in favor?
Aye.
Against. 6, Resolution 21-218.
Outlining shared responsibility for maintenance of various park, water, and sewer services between the MUA and the Pompton Lakes DPW.
What's your question, Councilwoman?
Jim's in the waiting.
So I know there was some going back and forth in how we were going to handle the water at the ball fields and it be, being accessible to just anyone, and we were going to put some guardrails around that. But I had spoken to Dan, I spoke to the folks at the MUA. I just didn't have a chance to review the memo. I'm not sure what the end resolution was. Are we pulling the meter out? Are we shutting it off at the valve? Can you just explain to me a little bit about what we decided there?
This resolution only has to deal with responsibility relative to the water services. So it talks about the MUA will have certain responsibilities to both football and baseball, and that the Borough DPW is responsible for water service at Hershey Park, Miller Park. So we have issues with the, different water services, like the fountains and stuff. We'll be responsible for that, and not necessarily the MUA. So that was something Lloyd put together. Everybody agreed on it between Dan and stuff, and the board just wanted to memorialize, so it wasn't just a handshake, so I put that resolution together to kind of put all those thoughts together. That's nothing to do with the meters, it has to do with just...
No, but it does include the meters. It does include the meters. It does include the meters.
Oh, I'm but it's responsibility.
Right. So Jen, to answer your question, yes, we will be pulling out the meters. The MUA or the MUA will be pulling them out, and they will be put back in on a certain date every year, which I think is going to be April 15th. What's happened in the past is organizations have called to have them put back in earlier, and then we got a cold spell and they froze and broke, and then the MUA was replacing them. So this is a way to kind of stop people from just calling and having it put back in. We will work with the DPW, though, to help us, what Kevin was just talking about the fountains, about sprinklers, and those kind of things. So those things, they just wanted to have dates set so it could be done that way. Okay? Did you lose it?
I think you lost her. I heard it hang up.
Okay. Okay.
I think we lost her.
You want to start again?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, motion to approve Resolution 21-218.
So moved.
Council President Devine. Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Bay. All in favor?
Aye.
Against. Randy, you had a question for Kevin. I'll let you ask that too.
Yeah, I just have a curious question on the, let's come back up.
Yeah, so people can hear you.
On the Lincoln Avenue Road improvement,
Okay.
from what road to what road on Lincoln Avenue?
Put that to MUA to Riverdale.
To Riverdale Boulevard, that short section?
That's it.
Okay, crossing Dawes Highway in that area? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Where are we? In ordinance for second reading, whenever you're ready, Liz.
These ordinances have been advertised and posted on the municipal bulletin board. Ordinance 21-22, an ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Compton Lakes and amending various traffic restrictions.
Motion to approve, open the meeting for public comments on ordinance 21-22.
So moved.
Councilwoman Riker?
Second.
Councilman President Devine? Anyone from the audience like to address that motion? Seeing no one, can I have motion to close the session, public session for ordinance 21-22.
So moved.
Councilman Devine? Councilman Devine? Have a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Riker, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to approve ordinance 21-22 for final adoption.
So moved.
Council President Devine?
Second.
Councilwoman Riker? Roll call, please.
Councilman Devine.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori's not here.
Skip her right now,
Okay.
yes.
Councilwoman Riker.
Yes.
Councilman Begg.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 21-23, an ordinance establishing specific penalties for the violation of certain municipal ordinances.
Motion to open the meeting for public comments on ordinance 21-23.
So moved.
Council President Devine? Was that you? Well, it wasn't him, obviously. Councilwoman Riker? All in favor? Against? Anyone from the public?
No.
Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session?
So moved.
Council President Devine, Councilwoman Riker, all in favor? Against? Motion to approve ordinance 2123 for final adoption. Have a motion.
Motion.
Councilman Day? Second? Need a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Riker, roll call, please.
Councilman Devine.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent.
Yes.
Councilwoman Riker.
Yes.
Councilman Day.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, under my report, we'll start with, we had the grand opening for the Lidl supermarket in town. Everybody here was up there at the grand opening. I think it went well. I think they did a nice job setting it up. I was very impressed with the store. I thought they looked good. It's nice to see 200 shoppers waiting to get in at 7:30 in the morning. I know I actually forgot something there, and I had to go back about 11:30. The line still went to Frank's to get in, so I guess people were excited about the store. I thank everybody that was involved with that project, redevelopment, planning board, our inspectors, Lidl, the landlord, for waiting out on us. That's very important that they waited and didn't put stores in there, and they waited out for a supermarket. Hopefully we'll support it, and it'll go very well, so that was a nice thing to see. Don't forget, we have Pompton Day this Sunday. We've sold out on our spaces, so that's a big deal. We have no empty spaces. This year we have wrestlers coming, a whole wrestling team, not wrestlers like high school wrestlers, professional wrestlers. That will go on most of the day, and there'll be times when that's happening. We have fireworks that start at 8:30 at night. Plenty of games and food for the kids. Come out and enjoy yourself. The weather looks like it should be very nice, 75 degrees, sunny. That's a wonderful thing. It's not too hot, not too cold. And I'm sure Councilwoman Kent will just talk more about that. What else do I have? And that is my report for right now. So, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. Like the mayor said, a number of us attended the Lidl grand opening. It's been a long time coming. I did want to thank the mayor for continuing to have those conversations with the property owner, communicating the importance of having a supermarket in Compton Lakes. I think getting one when grocery stores have been going through some challenges, getting one back in town can't be understated. The redevelopment agency and the planning board got really creative in how the redevelopment project worked in that, and it really really facilitated Lidl coming in and being willing to place a store there. As the mayor said, I mean, it's our grocery store, and people are going to have to shop there. So the layout looks great, the food looks great. It's very, very bright and airy. It's going to be busy for a while, which is good. That's not a bad thing. So, but again, it's important that we support that business that has decided to locate in Pompton Lakes. I just wanted to congratulate the Smiling Rhino Theater for getting a Shuttered Venues operating grant from the federal government. My daughter actually just did a 2-week camp program there where they for 2 weeks that they worked on Matilda Jr. And actually the show was pretty amazing that they came through and had an excellently choreographed and ran show in a matter of 2 weeks. And that's to that same point of supporting our businesses. The Smiling Rhino does have a lot of theater programs coming up in the fall, not only at 237, which is on Hamburg Turnpike, but they'll be having ones on Main Stage, like Shrek Jr. There's the God of Carnage, which I guess was a James Gandolfini play. So again, just as important as supporting our businesses is supporting our cultural institutions. The Smiling Rhino is a big one for our town. As the mayor said, Pompton Day is coming up. I did want to mention that the Pompton Day 5K is being held at Hirschfield Park at 9 a.m. People can still register online, I think up until the Friday or Saturday before, but also there is registration right now before the event. There's going to be a vaccine clinic on Thursday, September 9th at St. Mary's Church from 3 to 6 p.m. There isn't any residence requirement, so it doesn't matter if you're a Passaic County resident, a Pompton Lakes resident. They are taking everyone. From what I understand, all types of vaccines are available. Moderna, Pfizer, and the J&J will be available at that clinic. I wanted to remind people next Wednesday, September 8th, there's the 9/11 ceremony, currently scheduled in front of Borough Hall. So we'll have an announcement if there is inclement weather, on another location. Again, this is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And a day like tonight, I know that there was we had some heavy rains, a little while back, and I think Lincoln Avenue was closed, and somebody had posted on Facebook how people had basically driven around the traffic cones. And I just want to remind residents that those cones put up by the police are for their safety. So it's important that people abide by them. There are other ways to get where you need to go, but driving onto a flooded roadway is not advisable. You have to consider safety first, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. And just to follow up on what you're saying, this will be shown after the fact, but it is raining very hard right now. All the hard work that all our groups have done. We have, I think, one of the most outstanding OEM teams around. Al, who runs it, has been through this for over 25 years. We're hoping the water stays close to the banks this time. There is that chance it comes out, so everyone should be prepared and ready. With all the work the Shade Tree Commission has done to keep the trees from coming down, and the Flood Advisory Board, and the open space, we've put a lot of time and energy into flooding here. It's not a perfect science. It's not 100%. There will be days that we will flood. Hopefully this is not one of them. But we all know in the back of our minds that we can't stop the water on a big, busy day. So everybody needs to keep that in mind, not just for today's storm, but when you have heavy rains, and I was talking to Liz today, when you have numerous storms like this back to back, we have to worry about the next couple months coming up. Another storm hits us a month from now, we could have some issues. So we have to be diligent on what we do. And also, just to follow up on what the Council President said also about the vaccinations, I had a meeting today with the nurse. It looks like we will be doing booster vaccinations here in Pompton Lakes, right here in Borough Hall. I don't have the dates yet. We don't have the information yet because it has to come from the CDC. When we get the actual information, we're hoping to start on September 20th here. They're still deciding at 6 months or 8 months. It will be a walk-in type of register. You don't have to pre-register. You can just come in. And we'll have more information to follow on that. But we are looking to hold 2 to 3 a month for the next 2 months here in Borough Hall. Councilman Bay.
Okay.
Just before you go, I'm sorry. Jen is saying she's in the waiting room. She's calling.
She was on.
I didn't hear the picking time, that's why.
She said she's going to try again in a few. She's at the road closure right now.
I hear it picking.
While Kevin goes out, do you have any information about when we're starting flu vaccines in town?
Yes, I just got something. They will start next month.
Next month?
Next month.
Because we'll have to be careful, because the advisory is that you need at least 2 to 3 weeks between your booster and your flu, so that we try to get the message out to people and try to stagger it so that people that they can take advantage of it.
Yeah, talking to our nurse, she said that's what she's waiting for that guidance, and then we'll actually put out a flyer explaining it all. She has a flyer put together right now just saying we're going to do this, but it doesn't have the specifics in it yet.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. I attended the Compton Lakes Community Partnership bid meeting on August 19th. Mayor Sarah spoke about the Pompano parking lot. She said the work has been held up because of the pipe not being delivered. He said he felt the building on the Susan properties will be taken down sometime in September, and that, as was said before, Lidl supermarket will be reopened on September. I have to say, it was a nice turnout at Lidl, and the store is a wonderful place, and the pricing was very good. Valerie Cole reported on marketing. She said many of the restaurants are giving discounts on concert days. Our copper reported that the bid will be holding a pumpkin decoration contest in the fall, that the shredding truck will be back in November, and that the big deck sale will be held in November also. So that's what we do.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kent.
Good evening. Yeah, thank you. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to welcome the Lidl food store to Pompton Lakes. It's a long time coming, and I can't wait to buy my first gallon of milk at the store. And I wish them well, and I'm glad for the residents that now they have a place to shop. This is a wonderful thing. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today for the grand opening, but I wish them well. I attended the Board of Ed meeting. So it was the last meeting, and I know the kids are going to be starting school this next week. So I want to wish all the youngsters and students good luck, especially with the mask issue. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I also attended the Flood Advisory Board meeting, and yes, we've done a tremendous job. I just hope the rain cooperates tonight. I also attended the Pompton Day committee meeting. There's a number of them in July. There's a lot of work that's been put into that, and it is thrilling to hear that there's so many. All the vendors' spots are taken, so it's going to be a really fun event. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of people that are going to be there, and I hope they have a good time. I want to remind everybody that the duck raffle or tickets are still for sale. They are $5 each. And all the proceeds go to the Recreation Commission for the many activities that they do throughout the year. I also attended the Improvement District meeting, and I think the mayor went through that and what they're going to be doing. I won't go into that, but it's glad. I'm happy to see that they're back working again. And I want to make a special thank you to Mike Shacatano, Councilman Zenon, Karen Murphy, and Bernadette Chimini for helping with the Lakeside Park mums. We went out and we planted, 12 or 13 mums out in Lakeside Park to spruce up the park for Pompton Day. And I want to thank them very much for taking their Saturday morning off to do that. The Recreation Commission purchased 2 new paddle boats and 5 new kayaks this past summer. And it is due to the amazing amount of residents that are now using the lake, Pompton Lakes, as a recreational water recreation. So the new dock that we brought in by the Open Space Group has really created a renewed interest in Pompton Lakes. The paddle boats and kayaks rentals will continue to the end of September and possibly in October, weather permitting. Right now, that is my report.
So I don't know if you have an agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to read a motion, don't I? 2
motions, yes.
Yeah, I apologize.
Go ahead.
Okay, motion to approve a request from the Pompton Lakes Riverdale First Aid Squad to hold a tag-style fundraiser on October 10th, 2021, between the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., rain date October 17th, 2021, at the intersection of Hamburg Turnpike and Ringwood Avenue. Please to approve a traffic control plan, ANSI certified traffic vest to be worn, positioned in yellow, no travel portion roadways behind traffic barrels. The Passaic County Board of Freeholders to be notified.
Second. Can I have Council President DeWine for a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Against. And I don't know if you have the second motion. If not, I'll read it. Do you have the second motion?
Yeah, I do have a second one, Mayor. Motion to approve the request of Echelon, Zenon, and surrounding neighbors to host a block party on Sunset Road on September 18th, 2021. Rain date October 16th, 2021, from noon until 10 p.m. Fire, police, first aid to be notified.
Okay, so the only thing I'm sorry, that's the next month. Okay, all right, can I have a second, please?
Second.
Council President DeWine, all in favor? All right, thank you.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Polidori, are you on?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good night, good evening, everyone. First, I want to say that I attended the Lidl grand opening this morning. It was great, an amazing turnout. Thank you for everyone that came out. Thank you for all the hard work from everyone that made that possible. There was a long line of people excited to shop. The store looks beautiful. It's going to be a great addition to the town, so I'm very excited about that. I want to congratulate Special Officer William Hennessy. I had the opportunity to attend not only his retirement ceremony, but also a dinner honoring him as he was a recipient of the Silver Award recently. So he's put a lot of time into the town. So I thank him for his time and I congratulate him on that honor. I want to say that I'm very excited about Pompton Day. Thank you to everyone that makes this possible. I know a lot of hard work goes into an event like this, so looking forward to some really nice weather and seeing everyone outside together. And I want to just welcome the kids back to school. It's a couple days away, and we'll be rolling into the new school year. I'm excited that they will be going back for a full day week. And I'm excited about taking on the responsibility of the CTA president for Lakeside. I know we already have a lot of great activities planned for them to make this a great year. I know they missed a lot over the last year and a half, so we're looking forward to welcoming them back and bringing as much fun and positivity back into the school year as we can. And that is my report.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Riker.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to join in welcoming Lidl to the town. I had the opportunity this morning to walk with one of their real estate executives, and he was describing to me a little bit about the store's philosophy, which is somewhat unique. Besides having bright lit aisles and nice wide aisles, he explained that the center of the store is almost, it was described as almost IKEA-like. But the difference is that they bring in those items, and they're really varied and really random, and I think the factor that unifies them is that if they bring them in, they're fabulously priced. They bring in different ones every week.
Yep.
And so their marketing is basically encouraging you to come and hunt. He analogized it to me to the Marshall's TJ Maxx feeling. You'll hunt around and see what bargains you can find. So it's a very interesting mix of grocery store. You have the hunting in the middle, and then you have fresh flowers and fresh bakery when you walk in. So he was explaining that it was a very deliberate concept, and it's one that they've used in their other stores, and it seems like it's wonderful, and welcome them, and I hope they are very successful here. Last week, the redevelopment agency met. We did not have any new applications, but we had a very significant review of and updates in terms of all the different projects in town. Obviously, one of the highlights was Lidl opening. The other thing that transpired during that meeting is that there were several lovely tributes to Michael Fabrizio. And what I didn't know is is the recording of our meeting available for people to hear? No. Okay. I didn't know if that was posted publicly, but they were really beautiful tributes to him. Well deserved, of course. The only other thing that I wish to do is remind people that this year the Jewish Holy Week, the Jewish holidays are unbelievably early. They start Monday evening of Labor Day, which is really on the early side. So Rosh Hashanah starts Monday evening, and it's Tuesday and Wednesday. And the greeting is Lashana Tova Tikotenu, which means have a very sweet New Year. And then we won't meet again until after the end of the Jewish Holy Week, Holy Time. It's more than a week. And that ends with Yom Kippur, which the greeting to anyone who is participating is, may you be inscribed in the Book of Life, and may you have an easy fast. So for all those involved, I wish you a very happy and healthy New Year. And that's my report.
Thank you. Yeah, I happened to talk to some of the executives there. I was surprised to hear they have 55 Lidl stores already in New Jersey, which is a pretty large number, considering, that they're a new store, and they hope to open a lot more. So I think they're an upcoming group that we'll see a lot of in New Jersey very, very soon. Professional reports.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Administrator's report.
Given the weather, I'll keep mine short tonight. Just a couple things of note. FEMA provided notice that there are flood mitigation assistance grants available talking to Sue Savone, given where we sit in terms of approvals, we really are a town that would be able to apply for, potentially get elevation and or demolition grants. Only problem you have now, after Irene, with 100%, they're at, 80% or 70%, of which the town would have to seek homeowners to pick up the difference, because the taxpayers aren't going to pay 80, 20%, 30%. But more importantly, truthfully, our debt service with the new fire truck and buying everything else, we can afford to take out additional debt for a FEMA grant at this time. But they're always available, they roll year in, year out, but that was reviewed by our grants administrator. After we paved Colfax Avenue within a day, people were screaming about the traffic, speeding, the whole thing. And so the police went out and did a traffic survey, to put the machine out on Colfax and Mandeville. And for the most part, it's not true. There were a couple cars that actually exceeded the limit. Most people were within the tolerances of the roadway. So that's good to know. Our police department is aware of the concerns. But the traffic survey showed that the events of speeding were not as we heard from the residents belonging. We received a letter from Stacey Doherty, who lives on Beach Street. She was looking to see if we could vacate Clearview Lane from Beach to Riverdale. Boulevard. That being said, the council got to determine if they want to do that or not. So right now it's just grass. As you remember, one time now we put the curb up and we kind of blocked off so people can use that roadway. But there are costs involved. So the council wants to look at it. We should do our due diligence without paying too much money. Also, the engineer will believe we should use the road. There's no utilities, the roadway, things of that nature. But the reason why she's asking for her email is her husband maintains that grass area, because between them and another property owner. Something to think about. But this one, I know the council has consideration. Let me know, at least dig around a little more.
What do our engineers say on that? What do our engineers say on it?
We can look at it, yeah. Well,
Okay.
the council decides what you want to do. If you want, let us check it out.
Yeah, let them check it out first.
Okay, do that. We're going to start our support community grant program on September the 13th. The council received the parameters of the grant program, and hopefully we'll be able to fund between 60 and 90 grants for residents and businesses, 20 employees or less in the business improvement district, up to $5,000 depending on how many applications we get. So that's going to be a wonderful thing. I'm sure other towns do it with their art money, but that's something we believe we should do to try to help the community, especially with revitalization and development. And we want to try to keep our businesses fresh and open as we continue to grow the town. Last two other things, Lincoln Avenue road improvements have been due on the 16th of September, so we can award on the 22nd. And the library restoration is due on the 30th of September. We'll award that in October. We already have a number of companies that we go to the library and check out the building for the additions. That's a positive thing. Again, the concerns we all have, any of these projects is material. The material will be available when necessary because supply chains are horrible. It's just a simple example. We have a major copy machine that's here at Borough Hall that everybody prints it. The drum guy. So that tells me, well, you have to wait because there's no more drums. You can't get drums, go backward. So right now I'm trying to get my salesperson to give me a loaner for drums with it. That's the problem everybody's having. They're like car manufacturing chips, so that's how they make cars anymore. It's not easy. It's not fun anymore. It's not about. But anyway, that's my report.
Just to follow up on a couple things, the Colfax Avenue project is completely done, right?
It's done except for the punch list. Yes, the major stuff is done except for the little bit of punch list.
Okay.
Right.
And just so residents who are watching this understand, because of the situation with the pond being dug up, and we can't get materials to finish it, the building of the, where the Susan's property was, and the gas station we're now using as parking for the pond hole until we have temporarily came back to the pond hole and fixed it. So for any residents or people looking to shop downtown, they can park at the Susan's property, which is, 227, I think it is.
The sign is directly people.
Right, there's the sign there directing them to park there. Any questions for the Administrator? Okay, seeing none, before we get to open session, I see our OEM Director walk in. Why don't you give us an update on the storm?
Maybe, Mayor and Council. Quick update. As you know, we're under a tornado warning until 1 a.m. And thunderstorms spawn tornadoes. So you just heard what we heard. So I hope people are on the watch for that, and paying attention to their devices, which have the automatic alert on them from the National Weather Service. As far as our rivers, I checked all 3 rivers. Right now, we're in good shape on the Paquonic. We're in good shape on the Wanacue. That reservoir was still below grade. It was about 4.3 feet below the spillway as of this afternoon. So it's going to come up, but we're hoping, and I'm hoping that it doesn't come up and spill. Once it spills, then we'll see a rise on the Wanacue River above what we're going to see from the normal tributaries that feed into that lake, Post Brook, which comes off of the Twin Lakes and comes under the bridge here by the county garage, and it feeds the Wanacue River. So we're in decent shape right there now, but you also hear the rain that we're getting. We're certainly getting probably up to the 2 inches an hour, which is supposed to continue until about 2 in the morning and then taper off as the storm speeds up and moves out of here. So we're watching the Rampo very closely. The prediction on the hydrograph right now shows that it is minor flooding. So we know, and I've spoken to a number of neighbors down here today on the phone and in person, that we're going to have probably water in the streets, a little bit of overbanking into that area down there around the Hillside Woodbridge and so forth. Now, we did remove a tremendous amount of homes down there, as you know, and all the homes along the dead ends on Riverdale Boulevard are removed, so that's comforting to know that that area that typically flooded, those homes would get it first. They're not in harm's way. So we just got to keep a good eye on that Ramapo. When the gates open, obviously that's going to change the whole dimension of that river. So we are watching that closely, and we'll make notifications as appropriate if we have to overnight. Most of the people, I think, we've gotten a lot of good feedback on Facebook. We put out, I put out a couple of alerts on that throughout the day, updates, and people are aware in their neighborhoods, you know, of the potential. So hopefully they've taken the precautions that we've asked them to take, and you know, move their cars, and at least they're going to be alert. So maybe throughout the night they can wake up, look out their window, check out their local situation around their home, and see where we're going to go from there.
Any questions for Oya? No. Thank you for that hard work, Al.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. One thing on the vacation of Clairview Lane, I would suggest that you meet with the fire chief and the police chief on this matter, because if you look at that particular neighborhood, and I'm familiar with it because in this last storm, we had a telephone pole that was broken by a tree that came down at the end of what would be Cedar coming in off of Riverdale Boulevard. Very interesting property lines back in that neighborhood. As a matter of fact, that pole that was broken had we actually fed 2 other homes that were off the end of Laurel. So we have an interesting thing going on there, and my concern is if we were to close that, you know, when we did close it to road traffic, it was kept as an emergency access point. Because if those 2 dead ends are compromised off of Olive Avenue, there's really no way for us to get apparatus in there. If they were true dead ends and there were no homes on Clairview, it would be, you know, not a big deal. But there are 3 or 4 homes at Clairview that would have to be accessed, and you know, God forbid, a fire or an emergency, and if those 2 dead ends were compromised, we would need an access point to get in there. I have no problem with them using the property personally, or, you know, accessing that for their own purposes, but I think to vacate it and close it, I think could provide in the future a problem in that particular neighborhood.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, motion to open the meeting for public comments.
So moved.
Councilman Begg? Second. Council President Devine, all in favor? Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Please step up.
Randy Hitton, 443 Montclair Avenue. I attended the last open space meeting. It was canceled. There was no notification I received. There was just a piece of paper hanging on the door. Now,
Well,
meetings are also for the public.
Yes,
There's a
there's a
reason
secretary
why?
issue there. The secretary is stepping down or had stepped down. We're looking for a new secretary for that group. So that might have been part of the problem. Jen, can you add anything to that?
Yeah, we sent an email out letting everyone know that it was canceled.
I must have missed that email. I apologize. But I
We
attended
sent
the
an email,
environmental
and
meeting.
there was a notification posted. The email was sent out at least 2 days before.
2 days? Definitely missed that one.
Thank you.
I attended the environmental meeting and, met a young man named Stephen Day. Very nice man. Very nice kid. He ran a good meeting. I talked to him for a good half hour afterward. Very nice guy. Very nice.
And I'll just tell you, he has stepped up big time for Pompton Day. He's one of the people that's doing a lot of work for Pompton Day right now.
Good. He's an asset to the town. The National Night Out was canceled. Why was that canceled?
Because at the time, the police department felt it was the safest thing to do. They didn't feel that at the time, they had to start planning it in May, and back in May, the COVID was still out of control a little bit, so they didn't want to take a chance. They didn't know where it was going. And most towns did cancel.
It was COVID related somewhat? There was no consideration about Pumpkin Day, saying?
No, at the time, because at the time, they were saying the summer should be okay, and theoretically, with the vaccination rate the way it is, at 76% for New Jersey right now, that's working in our favor.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed because it's 2 days before school starts.
Yep.
I seem to remember in the past that when the Lidl wasn't there and the old supermarket was gone, that the property owner applied to the county for a reduction in taxes.
They can't do that with the pilot. It's a pilot right now.
Well, they did apply for a reduction in taxes, correct?
Oh,
We actually negotiated a settlement relative to the introduction of Lidl and the development of the reduction prior to the Lidl going.
All right, so the taxes that we lost, we're going to recoup.
well,
The pilot, well,
Oh, Lidl came in under the pilot program?
yes.
Okay. Did the boat get here yet?
What?
Did the boat?
I don't think so, but do we know?
that's the supply side, everything else.
Yeah.
You didn't get a-
They're missing the motor.
They're missing the well, the motors were supposed to come in later.
I don't even think the boat came in
Close to
yet.
here, yeah.
Well, they
Boat's
didn't
not
take
here.
possession of the boat because it was meaningless without.
In honor of Councilwoman Riker, can we, name the boat, P.L. Riker?
I have no problem with it.
Oh, you don't, okay. We just got a brand new F-350 pickup truck for the police department.
Leased.
Was that under grant dollars or tax dollars?
That's under a lease program, so we're not buying cars anymore. We're actually saving money by leasing them and then giving them back.
Well, that's under a lease program?
Yeah, with the enterprise, you know, all of you can jump in our whole enterprise.
Last question I might have for OEM, well, how come the gates weren't open sooner before this rain came?
We've had that fight, and when Katie Cole was mayor, they did do it once under Chris Christie, and they decided, and I will agree, that it's like a bathtub. You're just making it save water quicker, and then it just dumps later. You can get a little more time out of it, but it's not a lot of time. We have a shallow lake here, it's only 6 to 8 feet, so when the water does fill in, it fills in quickly. And OEM, if you want to... Sure.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm done, that's my last question.
Thank you.
On the subject of lowering the lake prior to the storm, I've gotten several
Me too.
calls about that yesterday and today, and one email which I responded to at length, and also a Facebook post which you might have seen on there. We tried it once. Mayor Katie Cole at the time asked Governor Christie, then Governor Christie, to lower the lake, which he ordered the DEP to do. What people don't understand is the Army Corps of Engineers that built the dam. Okay, they have control over the dam, but the dam control was given to the DEP, which then passed it on to North Jersey District Water Supply. So you have three different entities there. So we deal, as you know, Mayor, with the DEP directly. And what we found when the governor ordered that lowered is that they drained the lake pretty substantially, right down to the lake bed in places. And when it refilled, and you heard the rain was just coming down on the roof of this building, refilled very rapidly. It's not a water retention facility, and I explained that to a resident today. It wasn't designed that way. It's not intended to work that way. And the gates were there to keep the lake at a level up to a certain point of no return, okay, which we saw in Irene. We reached a certain point of volume of water where the gates just become inconsequential, okay? They might as well not even be there. It's just going to come over and around, which it did. It came around the gates, over the bridge, through the CVS parking lot, through our Lincoln School, and it was, that was it. Created a lot of damage. So lowering it provided no relief, and it filled up very quickly. And yes, the gates were shut prematurely. We understood that maybe they could have left them open and feathered them a little bit, allowing for a flow during the filling process. But in speaking to an engineer about that, it would have filled up just as quickly, but with a little bit more time. Not as quickly, but it would have been filled up in a matter of just a little bit more time. It still would have been filled, and it wouldn't have done what these people expect. The North Jersey, I get questions on this too, because they're there, they're visible, they have a pumping station there. They only pump out of our lake at times of low reservoir volume, okay, when they're really in dire straits, when they hit a certain percentage in the summer, when they need water. Now, ironically, that's when our lake is low too. All the water tables are low then, but they do only pump usually during that time. They don't pump, like right now they were at 90%, and that they've not pumped out of that lake. It's there for emergency purposes only, and that lake, that building has nothing to do with the dam. It was there well before that dam was ever there. That intake and that pump house, which pumps water up to the Warnock Reservoir. And what people need to know now is that reservoir used to be self-sufficient. They added Monksville, which added 7 billion gallons. The Warnock Reservoir is 30 billion, so we got a total of 37 billion gallons there. And now they also ran a line many years ago, you remember, along the railroad tracks in our town, out to the Oradell Reservoir, when they partnered with whatever it was before Suez. Okay, there was a name, another name for the water company.
United?
So, United, thank you. So they have a way of sharing water now, which they didn't, 15, 20 years ago. So that pumping station has become less important, than it was even back in the day. So no, they won't lower the lake. It serves no purpose. And I'll address sandbags, because they got a number of calls about that, because people heard they were giving them out in other towns. We tried sandbags in 2011 for Irene. We were left with nothing but a mess of sand everywhere, in our storm drains, in our streets, in people's basements, because the sandbags are good when you have minor flooding and you want to keep water out from seeping under your doors. When you get a minor to moderate flood, there's no sandbag that's going to keep that out, right? Especially when you get velocity with that flood water, it's going to take those sandbags right down the street, which it did. So we tried it. As I told this gentleman today, we tried it. It didn't work. It was a, lost venture. We had the state county people came in and helped us, load the sandbags or fill them at Lincoln School. We purchased the sandbags, and we gave them out free to the residents, and a lot of people took advantage of that, but what they found, on the backside is it served no purpose. It was a lot of work for nothing.
Yeah, we had to get rid of the sand.
Right. My only last question with the project on Colfax, the orange signs, are they going to be taken down
They
soon?
took them down today,
They did.
except in Oakland. They didn't take
Except, I was going to say, our Oakland neighbors have to put up with those orange signs on
Well,
them.
we'll have to get them back there.
All right, great. Thank you.
And just to follow up what you said, really, if anything was going to be lowered, it would be the reservoirs I'd like to see lowered, because that would make a difference, but they're so large, it would take a very long time to do. And I understand that they don't have a mechanism to lower the Wanacue Reservoir. There is no flood control on that reservoir.
No.
But in my opinion, that would be something that we would hope someday could happen if they could
Well,
figure it out.
We know that every mayor before you, especially John Murren, was very adamant about that fact, that they should change the gate up there from a fixed spillway to one where they could lower it in the summer. And of course, they're a water purveyor, and their retort is always, we're in the business to make money. Water is money. So that's why they don't want to do it. It would have to be an act, I guess, of the legislature to force them to put in some kind of water control and retention method up there. And I agree with it, because we find very often that when that reservoir is low, it takes that third river out of the component and it saves our town. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a motion to close the public session.
So moved.
Council President Dwight? Councilman Bay, all in favor? Against? Privilege of the floor, anybody? Okay, motion to
Mayor?
adjourn. Oh, what's that? I'm sorry.
Mayor, is there, Mayor, it's Maria.
Yes?
I'd just like to, is it, open floor? May I speak?
Yes.
When Mr. Hinton brought up about Steve Begg?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Yes, Steve Begg is our new Environmental Protection Committee chairman. He's done an amazing job in a very, very short period of time, and he's done an amazing job with keeping the vendor lists available in Pompton Day, and he is an amazing asset, and I want to thank him. And Billy did a great job with Steve. I also want to mention something that I know we didn't vote on it tonight. I don't believe we did, but the Katie Cole Park on the MUA memo, item 9. It does say Katie Cole Park has no water or sewer service. However, we are working on that. I just want to make sure we all understand that.
No, we are not working on it. Who's working on that?
I thought we were going to have a plan
No,
put together.
we have a plan. We spoke with DPW. They will not be putting water in there. That was never part of the plan to put water in there. That's a very expensive proposition. So we will do some of the things that came up in that memo. Putting water there will not be one of them.
So there will be no irrigation?
Correct. That park was put in place with no irrigation. That was supposed to be a welcoming park that would have greens that don't need watering.
Okay. I thought in another email or memo, and I apologize, I don't have it in front of me. I thought they said there was going to be a private company that was going to give us a quote for irrigation.
Well, the town's not paying for it unless a private resident's paying for that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I thought. I thought that was on.
So we met with Dan over the park. I should bring that up. We did, and some of the things we can address and we'll take care of. Some donations were put in place for a tree. I understand. The irrigation we will not be doing. The electric is already there. I spoke to Mike Simone, who was the actual purveyor of putting that park together years ago, and he said that was just an introduction park. It wasn't meant to hold a lot of people, no swings or recreation pieces, no irrigation. It was just a welcome to town with a sign up there, basically. So we will address some of those things, yes.
Okay. All right. And then I just wanted to my last point was Mr. Hinton brought up the fact that there was a civics group that went and purchased alcohol at some type of a function, and the bill was submitted to the town.
We addressed that, yes. We talked about that already.
Okay. I would be very upset if the town taxpayers paid any kind of an alcohol bill.
No, it was pulled off.
That should not be paid for. Okay, as long as I couldn't, it was hard to hear. I just wanted to make sure that part of that bill was not, that is not appropriate.
No, alcohol was pulled out of it. Sales tax, there was mistakes that were made there, and we're going to address that. But we did not pay that bill as stated, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you, and that's all my questions.
All right, thank you. Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Council President DeWine? Councilman Day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, bye.
See you guys.
Thank you, good night.
Good night.
Good night.